mynews.studio.
A tiny chip that imitates the environment of human bone marrow, and a blood test that can detect dementia years before symptoms. Are we on the verge of changing how we tackle our toughest diseases?
Today is July 2nd, 2025. Let's begin with leukemia. Traditionally, treatment has meant chemotherapy, bone marrow transplants, or maybe standard CAR T-cell therapies. Is that about right?
Yes, that's the standard approach. But we're seeing some real shifts now. For instance, researchers at USC have developed so-called smart CAR T-cells that can be switched on or off using ultrasound. That's a significant change from conventional immunotherapy, where, once the cells are inside the body, doctors have little control.
Let me check if I get this. These smart CAR T-cells don't just target cancer cells. They can actually be controlled, so healthy tissue is less likely to be harmed.
That's exactly it. They use something called Boolean logic targeting. This means the CAR T-cells only activate when they find specific markers on leukemia cells. So, healthy cells get spared. It's especially important for acute myeloid leukemia, which is challenging to treat and often comes back.
You mentioned ultrasound. How does that work in practice? Is it as precise as it sounds?
The research is still in early stages, but in preclinical models, doctors can activate or deactivate the CAR T-cells from outside the body using ultrasound. So, if a patient starts having a dangerous immune reaction,
Doctors can step in and turn the cells off instantly?
exactly, that level of control could make the treatment safer, especially in emergencies.
Interesting. Now, about this leukemia on a chip, how does it connect with the rest?
So the chip is a tiny device that mimics human bone marrow and the immune system. Instead of relying on animal models, researchers can place a patient's own cancer and immune cells onto the chip and watch how they react to different drugs.
So it's almost like a personalized testing platform. Does this mean therapies could be customized based on how someone's own cells respond?
That's the goal. It could speed up drug development, reduce the need for animal testing, and help doctors predict which treatments might work best for each person before they're given.
Are either of these technologies, smart CAR T-cells or the chip, in use with patients yet? Or are they still in the research phase?
The smart CAR T-cells are heading into clinical trials. The leukemia on a chip is already being used in research and could soon be a tool for early-stage drug testing and therapy design.
Let's switch gears to dementia. The FDA has just cleared a blood test for Alzheimer's. How does this stack up against older ways of diagnosing the disease?
The Lumipulse test is quite a change. Instead of costly PET scans or spinal taps, it just needs a standard blood sample. It looks for two proteins, phosphorylated tau and beta amyloid, that signal Alzheimer's years before symptoms show up.
And how reliable is it? Could it miss early cases or give false alarms?
The test has over 90% accuracy in spotting amyloid plaques tied to Alzheimer's. It's not flawless, but it's a much easier and more accessible option.
So people aged 55 and up with symptoms can get a simple blood test now. Does this mean earlier treatment or even more participation in clinical trials?
That's the hope. Early detection means access to support and therapies sooner. And with more people diagnosed earlier, research could move faster, since more patients can be followed over time.
What about global access? Blood tests are cheaper and easier than scans, but are there concerns about making sure everyone benefits?
Equitable access is a real concern. Ideally, these tests will reach places with limited medical infrastructure, helping to level the playing field. But it will take collaboration between regulators, healthcare providers, and companies to keep costs down and coverage broad.
With both these advances, precision leukemia treatments and accessible dementia diagnosis, it seems international cooperation is a common thread. Why has that been so crucial?
No single country could have managed this alone. Scientists, clinicians, and regulators worldwide have shared data, pooled technology, and worked to align standards. This teamwork speeds up the process and spreads the benefits more widely.
As these technologies move from lab to clinic, what still stands in the way?
There are still challenges: regulatory approval, scaling up production, and making sure every patient, regardless of location, can access these treatments. It's a big task, but the progress so far is promising.
We began with a chip and a blood test, but really, this conversation is about changing how we confront two of the most pressing health challenges worldwide.
And showing what's possible when innovation and international cooperation work side by side.
Thanks for joining us as we explored these breakthroughs: smart CAR T cells for leukemia, leukemia on a chip for personalized testing, and the first FDA-approved Alzheimer's blood test.
Medical innovation is moving fast, but making it accessible is the next big step. Stay with us for more science that matters.
Thank you for listening. This episode was produced by mynews.studio. Try it now for free.